Hi there, it's Kathy from Sycamore and Cotton. Come thrifting with me at the Goodwill in downtown Brooklyn, New York.
Please help sign the petition.
This Goodwill is literally at the end of the block of my son's apartment building, so it's within steps of his door. And it's the second time I've been there this week. It is a pretty good Goodwill. Prices on most things seem to be better than the Goodwills that I shop at back home. But I have to be careful what I get because I am flying back. I only have a carry-on bag, and I just really need to be careful about what I get. So they have about 4 or 5 aisles of the home decor items. So follow me along and let's see what I come up with. This is a set of coasters, and I didn't really like the design on them, but one of the things I considered getting them for is that I could do a makeover on them. I have enjoyed making a few of those in the past, and they seem to sell pretty well in my booth. It was probably around 2 p.m. I think when I went there, and it was really busy. Lots of people in at the home decor, lots of people looking at the clothing items. I'm right now making my way over to the sunglasses because when I was there, when I was here shopping last summer, my first trip to Brooklyn to visit him, once he had moved there, I found an awesome pair of sunglasses, and I did buy them, and I'll show you in the video what I got. I am kind of on a mission to buy eccentric sunglasses. Kind of. So that's what I got. They're this round sunglasses with rhinestones in different colors all the way around it. I like them a lot, and I wore them all last summer. I'll probably pull them out again if I can find where I placed them. Anyway, making my way back over to the home goods area. So that was a nice lamp. I think it was maybe $7.99. I like this little lamp there. It was maybe $4.99. Very affordable, but not really anything that I felt like I had to have, and certainly not something that I wanted to travel back with. That is a McCoy vase to the right there. I think I pick it up. I don't know why they have this habit of taping things together to sell as a pair. Yeah, that's the McCoy vase or McCoy canister or crock. It was $4.99. I would have bought that if I had been home. It did have a little bit of cracking in the glaze and definitely some wear, but I think for McCoy I probably would have gotten it if I had been home, or at least having my car rather. There's that cute little tart pan I saw yesterday, or day before, whichever day it was. Didn't see a whole lot in the line of frames. I almost got that, but I put it back if it's there when I go. Maybe if I go tomorrow, I might pick it up then, but I bet it's not there. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Sorry, I don't have the camera on focused on what I was looking at. So I was just going through the pictures, trying to find something that might be of interest to me, but didn't see anything. Now I'm back on the other side. That flamingo cup mug is adorable, and I probably should have gotten it. I think it was $3.99. That seems to be their basic price for basic things, but I put it back. That is a very nice vase. I thought it might be crystal. It didn't make the sound. I know you can't always go on that alone, so I think it may be cut glass. Very pretty and very heavy. This is a platter that I would definitely have gotten had I been home. In fact, I think I have one, a smaller one that's of this same design. I'm not sure. One that's in the booth. But I would like to have had that one. I just don't feel it would have made the trip very well. That was a pretty nice Christmas tree. I think it was $4.99. I don't really need them, but I do usually try to pick them up whenever I'm out. That was a cute little pot, teapot. And this is, I hope I get it in view for you to see. I need to get better at filming. It's a set of salt and pepper shakers, peacock salt and pepper shakers. And I did put it in my basket. This is a Santa tree topper, $3.99 or $4.99, in perfect shape. I would have gotten it if I had been home again. I don't know why I put myself through this going to Goodwill when I know that I can only manage to bring back a very few things, but I guess it's just the thrill of the find. That basket down there, I'm not picking it up here at this point, but I did look at it when I was in this store 2 days ago, and it's $4.99. It's in perfect shape. I love it, but I just don't, I can't deal with carrying it on the airplane. And what's the point of paying for additional luggage if, what's the point of buying these things at good prices if I'm going to have to pay for additional luggage? It's just not going to work out for me. I visited this Goodwill 3 times while I was visiting my son, and I did buy a few things, but I ended up leaving more there than I would like to have. I did run across some hats that I also would like to have gotten, and they were just priced higher than I thought they should be for Goodwill. I loved this hat, $7.99. Should I have gotten it? Probably. Did I? No. I'll regret it this summer. Here are the things I did get. I also got an enamel colander, but I left that with my son because he was using plastic. I got this beautiful bone china vase or flower pot. I got this pitcher, and then this cashmere lacquered bowl from India. And I like all of these. I'm probably going to keep them myself. The struggle is always so real. One of the reasons that I was in Brooklyn with my son is he was having foot surgery, and he needed me to come up and help out with his sweet dog, Mama Maria. So that was her, and you can see what a sweet pup she is. I thought I would include some pictures of while I was there. I got a chance to visit with some friends. When he was feeling better after several days, we walked down to the waterfront looking over toward Manhattan and the financial district there. I can't pass up taking pictures of the brownstones. They're so pretty, and these lovely lilac trees were blooming in front of a few of them that we saw. This is down along the waterfront too, and that's my handsome son. He's trying out his scooter that ended up not working so well for him. This is the nighttime view from his apartment. It is amazing. This is a rooftop view from his apartment. And then just some shots, random shots of downtown Brooklyn. These prices amazed me at this market that he shops at frequently. More brownstones. They're so colorful. And one night I cooked a country meal, soup, beans, cornbread, collard greens, sauerkraut and wieners, and we had one of his friends over. And then there's some more of the beautiful lilac bushes. And then here's a picture of me and my son and my little grandpup, Mama Maria. Our last dinner, I roasted vegetables and made meatloaf. And then that's also from our Sunday walk the day before I left. This was a delicious orange cardamom latte. And this is me as I'm riding away in my Uber back to the airport. I'm always sad to leave my kids, but here I am back home, and I'm ready to share a couple of basket makeovers with you, starting with this one. This basket had been given to me by my good friend and sitting in my garage for a while I decided what I wanted to do with it, until the day that I kicked it in and made this big hole in the corner. And had been sitting there for several months in that condition, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And I was thinking along the lines of cloth, covering it in cloth, and then it dawned on me, I have this new IOD mold of the sunflower. So I decided to give it a try. I didn't know if it would work or not. I didn't know how the air dry clay would adhere to the basket, but I knew that it wouldn't hurt to try. So I got out my air dry clay and started rolling it in my hands, softening it up to be able to make it more pliable. And you can see here, I'm not very experienced at using air dry clay. I was just breaking off little tiny parts, and I guess pieces, and I guess you do work it that way, but I probably should have done it a little bit differently here. Nonetheless, it turned out in a pretty decent flour, and I mashed it in really well so that the smaller pieces would all come together. And one of the things that you might have seen is that when you start using a silicone mold for your air dry clay, you have to brush it with baking soda or cornstarch. I have used baking soda, but it's actually cornstarch that's recommended, and that helps you to be able to unmold your casting without having any problems of the air dry clay getting stuck into the details of the mold. So it comes out a lot easier. Once you have everything in there and worked in, these molds have a rim around the design that helps you to just rub across it, and it helps to get rid of that additional clay that's along the edges, the outer edges of the shape, and to bring all the detail of your mold out in your casting. So once that's done, you just flip it over, and ta-da! Isn't it beautiful? Look at the details. And there may be a few places here and there where there's a little bit of small bits and pieces of the clay that's still on the detail. You can just use your hand to smooth them down a little bit, or use a brush if you'd like to use that. But in getting it ready to adhere to the basket, I put lots of glue on there. I'm using Titebond. This is not the Quick and Thick. It's just what I had on hand, but it also worked really well. This is, I guess, just the Titebond wood glue. I'm not sure. But anyway, you do want to make sure you get it all the way on there, and I'm just wiping it off. I didn't want so much that it drips down the basket, so I was wiping off the extra, and then getting ready to adhere it to the basket. And underneath, obviously, I'm starting with that corner. And that's why this larger sunflower was so perfect, because I could just work it onto the corner where part of it is going underneath the basket, but not all the way to the bottom of the basket. It covers just the part that I need to cover perfectly. And I'm just working it in, making sure that all of the edges are secured down and touching the wicker, and not just softly laid down on it so that it would not adhere well. And I wanted to work out any of the glue that comes out from under it. I take a brush usually and just wipe it along the edges to get rid of that. And again, I'm just going along there and just pressing down very gently but firmly all of the edges of the basket, or I'm sorry, of the casting to the basket. Okay, so I'm actually working on a different basket now using the same IOD sunflower mold. I will show you both baskets at the end of this video and how they turned out in the end. I'm really pleased with both. This is how the thrifted basket started out. When I saw it in the thrift store, I loved the shape but did not like the color. It's a bit outdated. So I started, of course, by first giving it a good clean. But then I took it outside and allowed it to dry in the sunshine so the wicker would be nice and dry. And I sprayed it with white spray paint just to get that inside a new refreshed look on the inside. And then I start making my molds, or rather making my castings. Unmolding is always so fun because using the cornstarch really helps the air dry clay just to drop out of there, usually, as long as you've got it in there well enough. And you always want to turn your mold over and let the gravity and the cornstarch get the mold out, or get the casting out of the mold for you. You never want to try to just lift it out because that's going to be harder. It's also very likely that you can misshape your air dry casting. So I'm just going along and adding the different castings to the green basket, trying to decide in my mind how I want to place them, how many I want to use. I didn't want to have it really, really full, but I didn't want the castings to just look like they were just stuck on there either. So I am using my debit card right there. It is an outdated debit card, so no worries there, but you can use any edge like a debit card, and it helps to flatten the air dry clay in the casting so that you have a flat surface to adhere to whatever you're putting it onto, and that works really well for me. I found that I really like using air dry clay. I do have used resin as well, not for this project or the other basket project. I have tried it, and they both have their own benefits. For me, air dry clay is especially good for the basket project because it's pliable. It's still wet, it's still moist when you bring it out of the mold. I mean, it takes a while to dry, and so it's pliable. You can bend it along curved surfaces. It's also very forgiving. If it dries and it cracks, you can always work some of the clay into the cracks that have dried. Just break off a small piece of the clay and work it down into the crack. If your casting happens to lift a little as it has dried, then you can also work a little bit underneath that to support there where you have a small space between the item or the object and the casting itself. So it's really forgiving, easy to work with, and dries very quickly. So I really appreciate working with air dry clay. So here it is after getting all of the castings on it. You can see I still have some tape on the pieces that are more fresh because the castings were sliding off. With it being the round and concave surface or shape, I had to use tape, and you can do that. Just very gently put a little bit of tape over the item, the casting itself, and then press down on the sides, but not on the casting. So now I'm giving it a coat of faded burlap, and as you can see, that's more of a taupe color, and my thought was to have that taupe color across the whole basket, but then the castings themselves be painted white with a little dry brushing around the edges to kind of blend in with the darker faded burlap color, which is a DIY paint. But what I realized in doing this is that most paints do dry lighter, and I wasn't factoring that in. I knew that about this specific color as well. In its wet, fresh paint condition, I really like that, and that's what I had in mind for the finished project. But it really didn't turn out that way because it does dry quite a bit lighter. So I just went ahead, went with it. It doesn't turn out exactly how I had in mind, but it turns out well enough.
So here's what it looks like after letting the paint dry overnight, and I had put a second coat of white spray inside the basket, and that needed to dry as well. I'll be doing yet another because when I was applying the faded burlap, some of it ran through, which is expected. I'm ready now to apply the white wax, and I like to buy Waverly's clear wax. It's liquidy. You can pour it and then use that as the base, and then tint it with whatever color I'm using. In this case, I wanted white wax, and so I've added some white wax, the Waverly clear wax to the white paint that I have on hand, white chalk paint that I have on hand. And I'm just stirring it, and I'm going to start applying it all over the basket with, I'm going to use my chip brush because I can get down in the crevices better with it, and that brush had just been washed, so I'm just kind of getting out some of the moisture that remained in it. So I'm just going to start applying, and what I want to do is I want it to go heavy around the edges of, I don't really care about the basket itself of parts, but I do want to have it heavy in these sunflowers, heavy around it, heavy around them, and heavy on the top, because these are really highly detailed molds that I get from IOD. They're fantastic. I mean, look, can you see the detail? I mean, it's just amazing. And I don't really want to do the whole basket at once because I'm afraid, I don't know. I'm just, this is an experiment for me. I think I know what I want, and I'm trying to get the outcome with it. Now I'm going to start taking off some of that. When you wipe away from the molds and the faded burlap shows, that's what I'm going for.
So here is the completed first basket that I had damaged, and it was my initial idea for putting these castings on baskets to help cover that damaged corner. I could not be more happy with how this one turned out. The castings and allowing them to dry, I then dry brushed white paint all around the basket itself and painted each of the castings white because they needed that finish. Even though the air dry clay dries white, I still needed to have a coat of paint on there to protect and support the dried casting. I could not be happier. And then I just used some oil, mineral oil, to rub along the handle and the edge, and voila, it's finished. It turned out exactly how I had envisioned. So let me know, what do you think about it? And here is the green basket completed. Like I said, it turned out lighter than I had hoped, but I am happy overall with its finish, and I'll be doing this again on a lot more projects. I love this mold. I really am liking it more than I even thought that I would. So let me know again how you like this one, how you like the other basket, what you might have done different, and if you think that you may try this on your baskets. And thank you so much for spending time with me and watching this video, especially if you've made it to this point. I hope that you enjoyed the time I had in Brooklyn with my son and helping him out. And I hope that you enjoyed the basket projects. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. I certainly appreciate that you're here. If you are new, I certainly appreciate you as well. And I would love if you would subscribe and get notifications for the videos that I put out in the future. Regardless, thanks so much for your time, and I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.